Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Split Labs channel. Happy Friday, and happy May. Justin Timberlake is just playing in my brain in repeat right now that I just said this. Anyway, I hope you guys get the reference. I'm not going to say it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyways, welcome back to the Split Labs channel. Today is Friday, May 1st, 2026. Happy Friday. We made it. As always, before we dive into my MLB best bets today, I have to let you guys know this video is completely powered by Split Labs because we built the exact tool that we wanted to use as sports bettors ourselves. We're going to walk over some public betting splits, some line movement, and some market signals across the MLB today together. And if you yourself want to see what the crowd is doing or the line is going and what the market is hinting at, it's what we do every single day, specifically Monday through Friday. Be sure to like, subscribe if this video helps you out at all, or if you're interested in that kind of stuff. And if you want access to everything that you're going to see on this dashboard, the Split Labs dashboard that I'm going to use to land my best bets, head over to the link in the description and or top pinned comment. Promo code YouTube gets you 50% off your first month to get everything that you're going to see here. So let's start with the recap. So happy we brought these back, especially after the monstrosity that was yesterday, guys. Great day, 4-2 record. Let's run it down. Tigers, Braves, over 8.5. I said it when I was breaking down that video and I was like, I just don't, and I said it, I was like, I don't really love the bet. Like, it makes sense on paper, but like, there's just something wonky about those first games of the day. I'm honestly, personal preference, I'm usually an underbetter. Like, I root for like a good defense, which I just don't know why. The Grinch of like totals, honestly. It wasn't even close. Over 8.5 didn't stand a chance. Game 1, Giants, wow. Game 2 too as well. Like, Giants, what are we doing? What are we doing? Terrible. We did win the +1.5 though, so shout out you guys for keeping it close. That's the team that I know and sometimes love. Giants, Phillies under 8, won as well. Expected it, as usual. If the Giants are going to somehow compete and cover any type of spread, it's going to be a pitcher matchup, right? Pitcher duel. We love that. So great to see that. Under 8 cashed comfortably there. Christopher Sanchez on the Phillies over 6.5 Ks. I mean, yeah, that cashed as well. Reds money line against the Rockies, that cashed. That was close, very close. And then we got not hooked, but we lost the under 9 by 1 run, which is very unfortunate. However, positive day, round of applause. But as we always say here, quickly celebrating wins, never apologizing for losses. Let's carry this momentum into today. And let's land our best bets together. All right, guys, let's dive into the slate. Let me get you guys to a closer view and let's do this thing. All right, so it is Friday. We've got an early game on a Friday, and we always love that. We're starting with the Diamondbacks coming into Wrigley, Chicago. All right. Full disclosure, as I always do when I record these videos the night before or just really early in the morning, it's 1 o'clock right now. So if you're seeing any lines that have substantially moved and it looks very different from the lines that you're seeing by the time that you see this video, probably in the morning or right before first pitch, that is why I'm recording this at 1 a.m. So we always recommend signing up for the site. Of course, that goes without saying, but also, for the freshest, most up-to-date data, you do want to rely on, your own account. Sign into the site, see the latest data, all that good stuff. But I'm going to run it down for you. 1 o'clock data, this is the people that are trying to get the best numbers, probably wagering the most money because they try to do that the night before and get, best numbers possible, stuff like that. Diving into it, 51% of bets on Chicago spread, -1.5. 68% of money coming in on the Diamondbacks at a +1.5. Definitely something worth noting. And then when we look at the line movement here, the books are already showing their hand, which I do think is pretty interesting. The run line price is moving towards Chicago Cubs, even though there's only 51% of bets on there. I'm noticing sportsbooks, and there's 68% of money. So technically speaking, this is reverse line movement in the Cubs here. Money line, we've got 77% of bets, 86% of money coming on Chicago Cubs. I don't know if that's a surprise to anybody. The line feels really cheap. I will say a minus 134 currently for Chicago Cubs, a 19-12 team. It does feel really cheap. I will caution that. However, line movement is trending in favor of, aligning with the public there. So we love to see that. No, 100% concern there, but noticing. Mental Rolodex. Moving into the total, we have 73% of bets, 80% of money coming in on the under 7.5. Looking at the line movement for that, let me move the cursor over so you guys can actually maybe follow along a little bit better. Total has not, the line has not moved, but the price did shift. It was for the over, I will say. The over was originally minus 102. It's now plus 106, which means that the price got worse for the under, which does make sense and aligns with the fact that the public is taking the under more. Now, because I'm seeing so much money on the under, first thing I'm going to check is the weather. So pardon me as I scroll past the bullpen. I know a lot of people love that feature, and so do I. But I want to see if the weather's kind of playing a part in that decisioning. So this is the forecast of the first pitch. Just looking at the field, it's not too crazy. We've seen worse, right? We've seen worst ballpark conditions here. But I think this is playing in favor of the under. It's not really, doing anybody too much favors here. Do want to look at kind of recent form here. We've got Arizona Diamondbacks. They just lost against the Brewers. And then we've got the Cubs coming in on a 2-game win streak against the Padres. Fantastic. Why not? Cubs are trending more towards an over heavy team, which is always fantastic. One thing I am noticing, and this is only last 5, look at the Cubs on the run line when they're favorited. It's not looking too hot. Minus 1.5 didn't cover. Minus 1.5 didn't cover. Let's go down a little bit. All right, maybe not. That's the last 5. We're not gonna read into that, Cubs. We're not gonna read into that just because I do think you're a better team than the Diamondbacks. Let's scroll up to the bullpens here. Bullpens, we don't have any starting pitcher, at least stuff right here. One thing that I do say is that these bullpens, not good. Not good at all. Arizona's coming in with a 4.04 ERA. Some arms available, some good arms available. We will say we got Clark, we got Murillo, we got Ginkel, some of their best arms. Not terrible. However, looking at the opposite side, even though they have a worse bullpen, the Cubs right now, recent form, 4.54 ERA lately, and a 0.98 whip, they have their best arms available right now. So we do love that. And it's definitely nothing to play down just because they have the worst ERA. They have good arms and they have a lot of options there. Now, this total. This is where I'm going to kind of just stay. And I understand that these bullpens, specifically the Cubs, have good arms available. And I understand that the weather is not trending in favor of guys, I'm going to do it again. And I just talked about it, how I hate taking over on a early game. I'm going to take the over 7.5, guys. I'm taking the over 7.5. These bullpens are terrible. They're just terrible. And I feel like a lot of people are reading into the fact that the weather is not... Is it annoying when I keep scrolling back and forth, guys? Sorry. Forgetting that I'm recording a video here. I do think a lot of people are putting into account that the weather is not trending in the favor of a home run, spot. Things like that, but our Split Labs projection, we have 9.6 runs projected. This weather isn't terrible enough. I understand that it's expected to be colder and stuff like that, but I gotta do it, guys. This bullpen ERA is not good. Both of these teams can hit the ball, especially the Cubs. I just don't feel comfortable taking it under 7.5. I do feel like the Cubs win this game. I just don't particularly see a Diamondbacks upset, especially if I have this game going over in any capacity. So what we're going to do here is give me the Cubs money line because they have the bullpen advantage. I can't really do a matchup on the starting pitcher right now. Let's see if it's actually up. Maybe we just haven't synced the data yet. All right, Zach Gallen versus Colin Ray. 3.14 ERA for Zach Gallen. Not terrible. not great, and then a 4.61 ERA. So a worse ERA
San Diego
for
also traded pitchers Andrew Kastner, Colin Ray to the Marlins, but
oh my
Ray
gosh,
was traded
something
back
just
to
started
San
talking
Diego.
and I just got so confused, guys. I just got so confused. It was the video on ESPN. All right, so Cubs coming in with a worse starting pitcher ERA, but I feel like that also trends in my favor of the fact that I'd like to take an over. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to take this over confidently. Cubs, I'm just expecting them to keep it somewhat close within the first 5 and kind of take things and run with it in the later innings. So that'll be my reads for the first game. Cubs money line over 7.5, and we're going to call it a day there. Moving into the next game. I feel like I gravitate towards the Pirates anytime I see them, but let's do the Orioles versus the Yankees. This one is a fun one. I haven't looked at the data yet, so I don't know why I'm calling it fun, but I do like both of these teams individually. I feel like they're fun. Also, they have 2 trash bullpens, so should be a fun one as well. Baltimore coming into New York, visiting the Yankees. 87% of bets on the New York Yankees spread. Full disclosure, as I always say, again, the Yankees are a public darling. If you're on the Yankees, regardless of what the data says, it does not matter. Like, when you see these numbers and you see these posts saying, oh my gosh, 95% of people are betting the Yankees, it happens every single day. The Yankees are the public darling when it comes to sports data. The books know that. Sometimes they just have to take it and account for that loss and get their money elsewhere, like a total or like the pitchers and things like that. It's never going to change. The Yankees could be 0-33 right now, and the public is still pouring money on a New York team. Don't fade the public just because these numbers look terrifying. And that is my spiel that I will give every single time as I run through data with you guys from the Split Labs dashboard. Anyway, moving on. 87% of bets, 54% of money coming in on the Orioles. Noticing, but the public is clearly, aligning that we like the Yankees to cover the spread here. One thing that I will note, the line movement, even though it's early right now, it has not changed, which is a little concerning there. Moving into the money line, 79% of bets, 95% of money on the Yankees. The fact that 95% of bets, this is the thing, right? It's not the money line and like the data surrounding the bet, right? Where it's like 95. It's like whether the books have actually priced this team to win or not. And at a minus 168 with 95% of bets, it doesn't feel that way. You, me, and the average Joe feels good about taking a minus 168. The average Joe is putting a minus 168 Yankees into a parlay every single day of the week. That's where they get you, guys. And right now, this just doesn't feel like the Yankees as a 20-11 team is priced to win this game. If I go on a tangent and the Yankees blow the Orioles out, I will be distraught. If you guys know where I'm leaning here. Anyway, continuing on. Total, we've got 71% of bets, 38% of money coming in on the total for over 8.5. Again, no line movement. It's still early. This is also a good spot for the books right now as well. So there's really no need for them to show their hand on the total line movement because the public clearly really likes the over. Right now, sharps are enjoying the under. So there's really no need. Moving into the bullpens, starting pitchers, it's solid, no complaints. We got Orioles coming in with a 1.35 ERA. Only one start, went incredibly deep, which is definitely going to play in their favor. If he can do this again, given the fact that their bullpen is not good. 4.77 ERA coming in. Yankees, on the other hand, we got Warren coming in with a 2.59 ERA. He goes 5.2 innings, so he gives you exactly what you expect a starting pitcher to do. He's averaged this in his last 6 starts. Fantastic. Things that you love to see. The bullpen, not good as of late. 5.2 ERA coming in. They do have good arms available, so that works in their favor. However, how much does that matter if Warren can't give you more than 5 innings? So I understand why people like the over. Like, I get why that's the public sentiment. However, you got a starting pitcher advantage for the Orioles. You have a bullpen advantage, even though, don't even get me started on the numbers. It is an advantage to them. They have the better bullpen to the Orioles as well. Give me the Orioles plus 1.5 here. Honestly, I would lean to the Orioles as an upset as well, but I won't go that far. We'll just do the Orioles plus 1.5 as our bet here. I'm going to leave the total alone just because it should trend in the favor of an over. I can see this being an exciting game, but I don't feel strongly enough to force my hand here. That'll be my bet, Orioles plus 1.5. And then let me just take a look for anybody interested in the park conditions. Not looking fantastic. What's the recent form of these teams? Orioles, both are coming in on a 1-game loss streak, so it is what it is. But that quick and easy in and out there, that's my read on the game. I don't feel strongly about anything else except for the Orioles should keep this close. I think they have every advantage to keep this close and potentially upset the Yankees here. If you guys wake up in the morning and this Yankees money line is not nearing a 200, I recommend we all run. That's all I'm saying. Moving into our last game here, we had so many games tonight, and I love that for everybody involved here. If you're an MLB sports bettor, let's see, what do we want our last game of the slate to be? I'd like to do a team that maybe I don't typically cover. Who would that be? I feel like I always gravitate towards kind of like the same teams. Do we want to do some athletics? How are we feeling? They've been, hey, talk about a turnaround. Like, went from like the bags, I mean, still, what they did to their fan base is terrible. Fun fact, growing up, I was an athletics fan. Don't ask me why. When I live on the East Coast, it does not make any sense to me either. But as you guys know, maybe you guys do know, I'm a Jets fan. I've chalked it up to the fact that my favorite color was green as a child, and that has gravitated towards green sports teams that I enjoy and love that have stuck with me throughout my childhood, which is why we've continued to stick with the Jets. I'm thankful, although the Orioles are performing well right now, I'm thankful that I have not had to go through, the stress of carrying the load of a fan base of a Jets and the Athletics, together. Tough. One season is enough for me. Anyway, that's my spiel. I think about it often. So, Guardians coming in to visit the Athletics. We got 53% of bets on Athletics plus 1.5. On the opposite side, 56% of money coming in on the Guardians. There's really nothing to see here. Split decisioning here when it comes to the public and like more serious bettors, and I'm air quoting serious bettors because it's really early, so like you can't really read much into a 56% of money line right now. As expected, lines have not adjusted, at least enough for like our Split Labs indicator to detect any noticeable line movement that we'd like to communicate to you guys. And then on the money line, 63% of bets, 59% of money on Cleveland. I'm not upset that this is at a pick'em right now. These teams are pretty much performing pretty evenly, if I'm being honest. Moneyline has not changed, so slight notice to that. What I will say here is let's move over to the total because we're seeing some things. 26% of bets, but 83% of money coming on the over 9.5. What do you know? What do you know? What do you know? 74% of bets coming in on the under 9. I always chalk that up to when people see these higher totals, like the public, the general public, right? Your average sports bettor, they tend to trend towards the under. And when I see these not like lines like this where I know it kind of scares people, I also kind of gravitate towards the over because it's like, yeah, when do you really expect as a casual fan that you're going to see over 10 runs combined in a baseball game? So I understand it, but also I can't ignore this money. 83% of bets right now. As I always say when I see this, somebody knows something. It's a party I'd like to be a part of. I'm personally, this data right here is enough for me. The fact that it's 1 a.m. and somebody has just said, yep, screw it. I want the over. I'm in. Count me in. Over 9.5. To be honest, that'll be my only read of the day here on this game. I might actually look at pitcher props and maybe some hitter props as well. So stay tuned for that, just because if I'm going to lean into this, I feel like I can find some good props to back this up. But let's do the bullpens and the starting pitchers just to kind of, give you guys that data as well as we close out our MLB Best Bets video. We've got Cleveland coming in with a 3.56 ERA. Not bad. Not bad at all. 5.1 inning pitches averaged about in the last 6 starts for Cantillo. Fantastic. And then the bullpen, although it's in red, you have to respect them. They're coming with a 2.92 ERA. Fantastic. Hats off to you. That's fantastic, Cleveland. Moving over to, oh wait, before I move over, I do want to note that while they do have fresh arms available, they have a healthy bullpen and good arms. Some of their arms are not that fantastic. So noticing, moving into the next side, Athletics, starting pitcher advantage, 2.5 ERA coming in. The concern is that he does not go lengthy innings, at least within the first 4 starts that he's had for Ginn. So bullpen is a 2.08 ERA. Hats off to you. That puts you in our elite territory. We love to see that. However, you're in a manageable status. You don't have that great of arms available. So I can understand why we are trending in the favor of an over 9.5. Now, moving into everything, at least for the first 5, trends in favor of the Athletics. Last 5, it could go either way. I just kind of expect that to be like where chaos starts to ensue. We probably see like the tug of war of like just runs coming in and just a disaster class. Let me go into the weather. Weather is trending. I mean, look at this weather. Beautiful. Look at this. How are we upset? I mean, talk about this is fantastic. Trends in our favor of just a fantastic park for runs and the total. So let's just take a quick look at and you know what? I feel like this also plays in our favor. Look at Cleveland's last 5. We're only going to dive into the last 5 here. They're not really hitting overs whatsoever. So like, yeah, the public's going to see this and think, well, why the heck do I think that Cleveland can contribute to almost 10 runs? They can't. I've got some news for you. Athletics, same thing. Lately, has not been able to contribute and get this over to the total of 9. I think this is, for whatever reason, I think this is the time the park conditions align in our favor, and just everything that I'm seeing here. I do really love this, especially this percentage of money coming in on it. So with that being said, those are my straight plays for this game. Let's move over to some player props really quickly. And I'm hoping these lines are available right now, or else I'm going to be really upset that they're not. All right, let's look at starting pitchers. Again, Joey Cantillo. What do we have versus the opponent? No data versus the opponent right now. Again, same thing right now. All right, so nothing that we can do there. Outs recorded. I think we're going to go hits. Let's go hits since we're expecting it to be a minus 205. That really makes me enjoy my Athletics over pick here. We do have to find somebody better, though, that can contribute. Jeff McNeil. All right, so we didn't hit this yesterday against Kansas City. Let's see if we have, look at this. Look at this. We've got Jeff McNeil for an over 5 hits, minus 153. He has a 78% hit rate against Cleveland. So I don't see why not. I mean, how do I ignore this chart? How do I fade it? Give me Jeff McNeil over 0.5 hits. Outs recorded. I could lean into this. Who do I think gets out first? I feel like this might be the easy read just because he doesn't go, well, we already know. We looked at we looked at his length. He does not go a full 5 innings. I'm not going to play into that. Instead, I'm going to look at Joey Cantillo. I always have a habit of just checking the opponent first, even though I saw in the previous one that he does not have anything for the worst opponent. So I have to stop doing that. Honestly, for these, just because they haven't hit it recently in their last 2 starts, I don't feel like fading it again. Let's see. Away, he's got a worse hit rate, so like I'm not opposed to it. I'd lean here for Joey Cantillo under 15.5 outs, but don't put it on the card. Don't put it on the card. It's a lean. I'm not going to force my hand here. Give me the hits prop, and that'll be my only prop of the day there. All right, guys. Now, with that being said, Thank you guys for watching the video. If this video helped you out at all, feel free to like, subscribe, and do this with us again on Monday. If this video helped you out at all, or you're tailing or you're fading, does not matter which one, drop it in the comments. We love to see that always. And last but not least, the most important thing, if you want access to everything that you saw here today on the Split Labs dashboard as I landed my best bets, head over to the link in the description and the top 10 comment, splitlabs.net. Promo code YouTube gets you 50% off your first month. I'll catch you guys on the next one.